Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Athena After Dark. I am your host, Athena Ransom, and we are doing our little web show. Alrighty. Well, this is the home of five good things and Ask Athena. The reason that the show is called Home of Five Good Things is because when I was a kid and something happened, I was upset or had a tizzy, I'd come screaming at my dad, crying, and say, and he'd be like, stop, tell me five good things. So, usually by the end of five good things, I didn't have a lot to bitch about. And that's why we're calling it Home of the Five Good Things. The show is positive. We really want to have a positive approach, nothing negative. We got enough of that in the world, so we don't need to add any more. We did our first episode, our pilot episode, and Miss Gypsy Charos was our guest, and I'm grateful for her being that person for me because it was to see if I could get through doing an interview and how well I enjoyed it. So pretty much Athena After Dark is presented by Vagabond Chopper. We're working on our sponsors and advertisers right now. So thanks to all the people who are joining live, watching, and participating. Don't forget to follow the show on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will be doing the Instagram soon. I'm learning all this stuff. I'm a one woman show here. Like my husband would say, a one legged woman in an ass whooping contest is about what I am with all this computer stuff. But hey, never say never. We're going for it. So cool. Um, Here, this show requires some audience participation. I haven't learned how to read comments on the side of the screen yet, so I'm working on that. But if you would like to participate in the five good things and ask Athena, you can email me at AOL, AthenaAfterDark at AOL.com. And you can tell us your five good things that you're happy or grateful to have in your life. You might just read it on the show, or you could send your question for a bit of perspective from a biker chick and just positive stuff. Again, we don't have any negative stuff. No time for that. We got stuff to do. We're going through the format tonight just to see how well I do at that, if I can follow along. Because again, I am doing all of this myself. I'm gonna laugh at myself. I suggest you do too. Um, okay, so every week after we get through that part of the segment where I tell you hello and how you doing and shout out to our sponsors and say hello to a few people who have commented in. Once I can read the comments, we're gonna do a rotating segment. The first segment's going to be one of four different categories. We're going to do a little bit about where it all began. That's about motorcycle history and where we come from, where it all started. One of the segments will be called A Blast from the Past. That'll run a week. That'll be like, nostalgic pictures of the middle era of motorcycling and bikers and things that went on, some of the events and rallies to show the difference. Red, white, and blue for all you do. That's going to be tonight's segment. We're going to start with that, and that's about supporting those who uh, produce American-made products and also do things for our veterans. Anything American, we're all about that, and we want to support that. And then Spark the Future. That's also going to be a segment that we're going to throw into the rotation, and that's going to be showing the kids and what they're doing with the STEM technology and their apprenticeships and the programs that are going on. So definitely something that will fill with lots of content. So I'm going to push buttons as I go here. Again, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm having a good time. You guys might have fun just laughing at me because I can be a dork sometimes. So red, white, and blue for all you do. We are going to feature somebody that is an incredible person in my life. I love her. She does amazing things. And I'm lucky we share the same birthday. We're born a day apart, same year. We've done a lot of cool motorcycle things together. That is Miss Laura Clock. She's right there, featured on the other side of Dale Waxler. That is us on the Cannonball. And her charity organization is Helping with Horsepower. Helping with Horsepower does curriculum with underserved children, youth, and they go ahead and they design and they refurbish a motorcycle, kind of the way they need to go ahead and reevaluate their lives and do what they can to find a better way to do things. It's kind of therapy. Well, this time around, Miss Laura and Helping with Horsepower has done a veterans program. So you can find them at helpingwithhorsepower.org. And I'm hoping that she'll accept our invitation to be a guest so that she can explain what her charity does. So that segment is going to go ahead and feature those things. I'm excited because the things that we're going to show here aren't things that you're going to see elsewhere. I'm going to dig up stuff that, you won't see in the news, you won't see in other places. Just some stuff, is quirky. It is adult content. It's after dark, so there might be some profanity, no nudity unless it's in a picture or something. Nothing to be offensive. If anyone's offended, well, I can just say that's not the intention of any of this. So with that said, we're going to go ahead. I get to push these buttons. This is pretty cool. All right. So then another segment we're going to do is going to be Ask Athena. It's going to be the viewer question of the week. All right. So this week, last week in our pilot episode, which if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see with Miss Gypsy. One of my close friends, Sister Motormaid, asked me to ask her question first. So I did. This week, the question is, why are you doing this show? So this is going to be like a 5-minute segment, and I'm going to answer questions. And this is where we go ahead and we kind of set the tone for the show. Why am I doing this show? Okay, so I am a very social person. I haven't had the opportunity to be very social in quite some time with, different things in life. I lost my father, my horse passed away, my dog died, all kinds of good stuff. So you want to stay positive, you want to be positive, you want to spread positivity. That's who I am. I like to smile, I like to have fun. I'm not a fan of negativity, although it creeps in every once in a while, but the goal is to not be negative. Spread positivity any chance you can. So that's really why I'm doing this show. A little bit about me. I started out I started out as a hippie child. My parents were hippies, and that was its own brand of living. We traveled the country in a travel trailer. My dad painted in the coolest places. He painted backdrops for Sonny and Cher show. He painted Governor Connolly's house in Texas. He painted skyscrapers, the Sears Tower. He caulked the windows, and he's done all kinds of cool stuff, my dad. So that was always an adventure growing up. Then in my early teen years, I got my first job in a motorcycle shop. That's me. You can hardly see it, but that's the little newspaper article because I became the parts girl at CycleWorks, and I was working for a legendary drag racer, Guy Glover, who had the world's fastest gasoline Sportster at the time. That was pretty incredible. So, I went on to get married and have kids, and let's see, I'm pushing buttons here. This is pretty cool. Bear with me. And if anybody has suggestions on how to get through these button pushing episodes a little better, I'm all about it. I have a lot of different stuff. So I have kids. My kids grew up motorcycle kids. They've all been part of it. And I would like to preserve our past. I guess when I was a kid, we would talk about the old timers and why they were the way they were. Now it seems like there's a lot of kids, and I'm working my way towards being one of those old timers. Or as they said when I was growing up, the old broad, you know what I mean? The old biker broad down the street. I don't ever want to be old, but I'm young at heart. I guess the body and the rest of it's going to go as it is. I'm al natural, no fillers, no extras. I'm allergic to everything, so I could have never done that if I wanted to anyways. So I grew up around motorcycles. My kids have grown up around motorcycles. I own Vagabond Chopper in Pompano Beach, Florida. And I'm lucky to be in business with my husband, my partner in crime, my love of my life. That's us. We like to go ride and stop off at the beach and have lunch on the picnic bench or, whatever else floats our boat. We will do crazy stuff. I make him crazy in the same respect. That's me in the shop with him, making him crazy, as you can see by his look. Like, just one more second, babe. I'm almost done. Wait, it'll be done in a minute. That's me. So he is patient and kind and wonderful. That's why I call him Mr. Wonderful. He's an incredible human being, and he is naturally talented when it comes to motorcycles. Everything I know, I've learned, and the standard of work that I do to his um level of what he wants, because again, he's a professional. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, he is all around the guru for me. He's my go-to guy. And so when I say I grew up in motorcycles too, I mean, you know, everything was different in certain times. That's in the 80s when I grew up around motorcycles. That's pretty much where it was, how we did it. It was out at a park, out at a picnic, wherever, doing whatever you were doing. And, everybody's having fun. Sometimes there was nudity, sometimes there was booze, drugs, fighting. Not that I participated in any or all of that. And if I did, well, I probably wouldn't admit to it because you're not supposed to do that. But yeah, that's just how it was. Now it's really strange to see things change. And I'd like to at least be able to tell some stories and get some information out about some of the things that we did in the past. I'm going to have some crazy cool guests on the show and get them to answer some questions so that we get to know them, not the same questions that you would ask like in your magazine interviews or things of that nature that you see in our regular news outlets. And that's all good information, just not all the information. So that's pretty much why we're doing this. So yeah, we're gonna have a viewer question of the week. I got some real doozies. I asked for audience participation last week, and I did get some real good questions. And then I got some real bullshit questions too. And then I got some that were in between. So next week, I will start to answer some of the other viewer questions. And I'm looking forward to everyone's 5 good things. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and go to the next segment. Okay, so we're going to also do a segment called In the Bag. Products that I love. Okay, so here I get to push the buttons again. This is exciting. So my one big thing is glasses. I have these eyeglasses on because I guess after you turn 40, your eyeballs get hard and you can't see the little print on anything anymore. Okay, whatever. The glare from the light is the hardest part. But yeah, so I've worn glasses my whole life. I had prescription glasses and I got my eyeballs fixed and I had the PRK. And then years later, they went the other way and I can't see the small stuff. However, the most important part that you need always is your sunglasses. I'm a KD's fan. Pacific Coast sunglasses. They are the home of the original KDs. Long before you saw them on TV or anywhere fashionable, these glasses don't fly off. They just are motorcycle riding glasses. That is the best product that you can get out there for eyewear that I like. I mean, again, this show is really about things that we could put out there. I like certain things, and these are products that I stand behind, that I enjoy. So I'm not going to just fluff and stuff and say, oh, hey, I like this because it's trendy. These are the things I like, and you like it, you like it. And if you don't, well, okay, what can I say? Give it a try. You never know. You just might like it. Somewhere, somehow, I know that some older person said that to me once when I was younger. God, I'm starting to sound like my parents. All right. So, yes, Pacific Coast sunglasses, home of the original KDs. They have all kinds of stuff. They have biker chicks. They even have the KDs now with bifocals so that you can read the little print that I can't see on the thing. So, okay. So that segment, and why do I like them? It's because they stay on. They have cool colors. You can get colored lenses. Now you can get bifocals. They have different ranges. They have the wraparound glasses. I mean, Pacific Coast Sunglasses has everything, but I like my KDs. And like I said, they just stay on and they're super good. So that's that. So then the next segment is going to be All right, here we go. Home of 5 good things. Our fans will write in and give me their 5 good things, and then I'll read them here. Sometimes I'll read a couple of theirs, or I'll pick one from each one. It all depends, and I'm going to pick the best one. So this week, thanks to the audience participation that I got from our pilot episode, which is awesome. It didn't go live like this one is, so I had to post it up there. All right, so here we go. Bruce from Brownsville, Texas. His 5 good things. One of the best ones I thought of his was he just got his new Harley-Davidson 2022 Lowrider ST. Kudos. Keep the shiny side up and send me pictures, and hopefully I'll get to see you out on the road. That is a good thing. All your other things were good too, but that's a cool thing. Okay, Mac from San Diego, California. My wife and I are having a baby. Congratulations. And if you're thinking about names for girls, Athena is good. For boys, Dawn is great. So then you have a match set. So just throwing that out there. Next is Jody from Scottsdale, Arizona. My family is safe from the fires finally, and we're glad that your family's safe too. And unfortunately, we can't predict the weather and Mother Nature and how she's going to do things, but we can all just be positive and be helpful and say a prayer and put out a helping hand. If there's something we can do for you and you can email us, we'd be more than glad if it's within our reach and we can put it out there, make it happen. We will do that for you. So, okay, Jody, give your family our best and tell them all we're grateful that they're safe. And we hope everybody else out there is safe. And if you lost something, well, hopefully it wasn't someone that you love. That's the best I could say for that. Helen from Ontario, Canada. Ooh, I went for my first ride of the season today. Ooh, boy, that's just scary. I live in Florida. That's where we're doing this from. And I can just say that I can't fathom that. It's May 10th, and it's just now getting warm enough for them to go for a ride. That's a little bit much for me. Again, I'm here. The premise of this show, as we talked about in the first episode, is after dark. I'm in my pajamas. When I do an interview with a guest, I'll be sending them pajamas or asking them to put on their pajamas. And if they'll participate, then we'll have a whole big thing going on. Okay, and last but not least, Frank from Syracuse, New York. I like this one. This was one of my favorites. He says, I got to wake up again. So, another day. Tomorrow is always another day if you're lucky to have it. So, again, we just want everybody to be positive. We're thankful for everybody sending in their 5 good things. Thanks. That actually made it easy to push the buttons and get through it. So, that's exciting. I appreciate everybody. And thanks for your patience and let me go through this. Okay, so then the next segment that we're going to do is going to be our cultural corner. I believe everybody should have some cultural enrichment to some degree. Like, go see a play, go see a movie, read a good book, go to a museum, go to an art exhibit. There's so much that involves motorcycles. So if you just even geared towards that and use the computer or whatever and Google motorcycle art, you'll come up with Scott Jacobs and David Yule, and like there's so many incredible artists. And then this week's feature is my favorite because I am this girl when I tell you it's the Harley-Davidson Museum. So with that said, Harley-Davidson Museum is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Growing up, I only dreamed of this. And it is the coolest and craziest thing that's an actual reality, that there is a Harley-Davidson Museum. Because who would have thunk it ever? Not us. When we would go to the dealership here in Fort Lauderdale, you had to go around the back door if you even looked like a biker. If you didn't look like a yachting person with a boat shoes and pocket full of money, you didn't get in the front door. You'd have to go to Miami to Phil Peterson's, where it was a little more diverse, and you could purchase some things there as a biker. Again, no tattoos at Fort Lauderdale. So the thought of Harley-Davidson Museum just even being there is so, it makes me giddy like a little kid. Like, I was there. I got to see the Evel Knievel exhibit when they first opened, and it was incredible. And we're going back this summer. So for the Chicks on 66 ride, which myself and Miss Gypsy who was my guest last week. Thank you again, Miss Gypsy. We're going to be mechanics for 40 women who are riding the Mother Road. We're going to start at the Milwaukee Museum for Harley-Davidson, and we're going to ride over to Chicago, and then we're going to start there. We're going to go all the way to Route 66 down to Santa Monica, and it's going to be interesting, and we're going to have so much fun. You can find that at chickson66.com, and it's CHIX. If you type in chicks like CHICKS, you will get a chicken farm. So it's CHIX on 66.com. The museum is cool. I mean, like, honestly, if you just got to see, let's see, can I push the button? That's the building. Like, look at that. Like, even the building is cool. How can you miss? And then there's that. The motorcycles. That's what everybody wants to see. I got lucky. I got to go in some of the archive stuff and got a little bit of a tour thanks to my good friend, Miss Chris Summer Simmons. We were there for a book signing she was doing, and I got a little extra special treat. So that was super cool. So yeah, the Harley-Davidson Museum, they don't only just have all the coolest motorcycles and all the memorabilia that you can see, they're also doing things to promote positivity and keep some of our past moving forward. Like, they're preserving the past and promoting the future with STEM programs and apprenticeship programs for the kids and scout programs. It's just the most awesome, coolest thing. So check out the Harley-Davidson Museum. If you're in Milwaukee, do not go there, because, like, you're a biker, you ride a Harley-Davidson, what else is there? Like, it's all there. So super cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in June and getting there and going on. So yeah, so in that segment, we're going to feature that. Sometimes it's going to be books, sometimes it's going to be movies, sometimes it'll be events, but it'll be some type of cultural enrichment, so everybody has something, and if you think of something that you'd like to see here, please send us an email and I will do my best to get it out there. Okay. So then the next segment, and thanks for letting me practice. This is kind of cool. We'll see how it works out. I got to find a new way to see you all because the glasses make me crazy. Okay. So the next segment would be get to know our guest. Tonight, the guest is none other than me, your host, and I'm perfecting the format here, so it takes practice. So who better to practice on than me? So again, shout out to Miss Vivian Gypsy Charos for being our guest. She was the first guest, and it was a true honor to interview her because she is such an incredible woman. But she is not only a motorcycle icon, she's a life icon. She is someone that if you could even be a part of the person that she is, watch the interview, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, she truly is. If you looked up the word good person in the dictionary, it would come up with her. She's a registered nurse. She was a moto journalist. She was a parts manager at Harley-Davidson dealers. She won a Discovery Biker Build-Off. She built her own bike. She did it. She's done charity builds with myself and our crew, the Chopper Chick crew. So that was cool. We put that up there. That's the logo. And then we got to build a bike live in Rockefeller Center on the NBC Today show. We did one for the Breast Cancer Foundation, and we did one at the Harley 105th anniversary. So again, she's just an incredible woman. So that's, all right. So that's when we get into it with the guests. We will introduce them and talk about who they are. I told you a little bit about myself. I am very, very happy to go ahead and move on to the next segment where we will ask them what sparks them. So this is where we get to go to what sparks you. So I'm going to ask some questions, like a quick fire question, and we'll go through it, and that'll give you an opportunity to get to know our guests. And again, it's stuff that they don't ask in other media outlets. And I figured it would be fun, and we can laugh and joke about it and have a good time and talk about some stuff. So I'm going to start out, like I said, a practice on me, and we'll see how it goes. All right. So the first question is, how long have you been riding? I have been riding 39 years on the back and 37 riding my own motorcycle. So, and not back to back. I'm not that old yet. And if I was, well, then I'm well preserved. Yeah, I started riding on the back And then when I started riding a motorcycle, it was a joke. So the first guy I was with, my first husband, he would always tell everybody that no woman of his was going to ride a motorcycle ever, except on the back. And one of his friends put me on his long stretched out Sportster and said, "Hey, you want to take it for a ride?" And I was like, "Sure." And then he hopped on the back and he said, "If you wreck my bike, I'll kill you." And I was like, "Okay." And I went around in circles in the bar parking lot for quite some time. And then we'd go to a party or something and he'd come up and he'd kickstart his bike and he'd be like, "Hey, take it for a ride." So that's how I started riding. It was a joke. Um, but things progressed from there. And I like riding on the back still. Like, I like to go ride up the beach, and it's a whole different thing because you can kick back and relax. I trust on my husband, he's my partner in crime, and I trust him with my life, so I can kick back and watch them play volleyball on the beach as we're riding by, smell the suntan oil, and it's a different mindset. Whereas when you're riding, especially here, you have to be on the offensive and be a little more reactive, pay attention, and read your traffic. So it's either way. So then the next question is, what are your favorite rides? What's your favorite motorcycle to ride, and what's your favorite route? Okay, so this is a good one. So I have motorcycles. I love my rigids. I have an FL. So, I mean, yeah, I'd have to say my favorite motorcycle would probably be Rosie. Her and I are still learning to get along. We've been through some whoop-de-doos. Some are my fault, some are her fault, and some are just other idiots' faults. But we have a thing. And anybody who's been riding that hasn't been riding as long as I have, and you're like, "Oh my God, I had a whoop-de-doo or I had an accident." It happens. That's all part of it. Whether you're in your car, on your motorcycle, walking down the sidewalk, it's all part of that. So yeah, I would have to say that Rosie, my 78 shovel, that's all been updated. I have, updated brakes and wiring. That bike is actually 4 eras of motorcycle parts. It's got shovel head parts, Evo parts, twin cam parts, and now she just got a set of what I call pigtails. I put ape hangers from a 2020 Street Bob on there. So she has Milwaukee 8 parts too, so that's pretty cool. And then my favorite motorcycle route. I have to say my favorite motorcycle route was my trip from Fairbanks, Alaska, back to Key West via Sturgis. We did the Alcan Highway, and that was crazy. There were places where there was no guardrails, where it said that the highway or the interstate was an interstate. You would think it would be paved roads and stuff like that. It was a big, deep gravel, and it was pretty nuts. It was logging trucks going by at like 60 miles an hour around these curves, but then it was incredible because the land there, Alaska, 1/10 of 1% of the state has been touched by man. I saw the Alaskan pipeline, all kinds of cool stuff in Fairbanks at the North Pole. The caribou actually walk around in the town. They like the donkeys walk around in Oatman. If you've never been to Oatman, it's definitely a fun trip. We'll be doing that in Route 66 again this year. So, yeah, that was one of the best ones. And then also, the Cannonball, the first Cannonball, we went from North Carolina to Santa Monica, and we did, the latter part of Route 66, but we did some incredible, incredible riding there too. So, yeah. Okay. And so then the next question. Who is your childhood hero? Ooh, my childhood hero would have to be my dad and my Uncle Larry. I guess the both of them. My dad was the most interesting man and had the craziest stuff and the craziest stories. But then my parents were what you call in today's day and age dysfunctional. So they were either fighting or fucking. There was no in between. And Uncle Larry used to rescue me from that all the time. He would pick me up, take me fishing. They'd want to stab each other and beat each other with hammers or whatever in the travel trailer we lived in. He always, for some reason, his timing was always right on. And he would come and get me. We'd bicycle ride. We went riding one time. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I got a bicycle for Christmas, and it was one of the first like adult bicycles, like a 10-speed. And we were like 8 miles one day, and it was just so he could keep me out of the house in case they, killed each other or whatever. It was kind of crazy when you grow up with the anxiety of having to wonder whether or not you go home, your parents are going to still be breathing. Anyways, and again, if someone finds themselves in that situation or they suffer from any type of PTSD from all that stuff, just remember there's always places to get help. There's hotlines you can call. If you're in a domestic situation where you're not comfortable, there's ways to get out and get help. So just remember that. And so then, yeah, Uncle Larry was my hero. He bought me my first haircut, like my first real style and clothes. Because when I went into middle school, they really made fun of me because my parents were hippies, and my mom dressed me in wooden clogs, knee-high socks, and denim skirt, and the patchwork shirts. And I didn't know that it wasn't cool until I was pointed out from some of the kids in school. But Uncle Larry took me and bought me the clothes, and he got me the Jacqueline Smith haircut, like Charlie's Angels. So that was really neat. So yeah, he is definitely, I'd have to say he is. Okay, who is your motorcycle hero? Oh boy, that is almost an easy one and almost a difficult one. But I would have to say I cannot tell a lie. So let me take that picture off. I'm doing pretty good at pushing these buttons. So Donnie Smith brother Fetro. He is my motorcycle hero. Like when it comes to motorcycle people in the industry. My real motorcycle hero, of course, is my husband, Don, because that man, I put him up against anybody. He's just got talent again. And they talk to him. He's like a motorcycle whisperer. But growing up, when I was a kid, so the posters I had on my wall were of Donnie Smith and Smith Brother and Fetro, Arlen Ness, Dave Perowitz paint jobs, we got our parts with we had Pat Kennedy parts, Gary Bang, Custom Chrome was just coming out. There wasn't a lot. That's why when we say choppers, anything can be a chopper to us in my era, because you literally chop shit up to make a motorcycle custom. Harley-Davidson was the platform, and everybody used to badmouth, oh, they always break down, they leak everywhere. See, and as I grew older and I learned more, that's really because you got to take care of your shit, and you have to know the right procedure, and you got to use the quality parts when you do the job. So, I mean, it just makes sense. So, yeah, Donnie Smith Brother Fetro, he had this long stretched root beer motorcycle, and it hung on my wall. The first trade show I went to, the Cincinnati V-Twin Expo back in the day, and oh my goodness, I told Don, I said, I'm going to go over and introduce myself. And he's like, go ahead. And I went over and I shook his hand, and he kissed me on the cheek or something like that. And I was like, I'm never going to wash my face again. And they were laughing and Miss Dawn, Donnie's better half, she gets a kick out of it. I have a Smith Brother and Fetro jacket that they sent me. I have a shirt. I'm just like, I'm blessed because here I am in my world, and my heroes, I get to meet them, and I get to go to events with them and hang out with them. And yeah, I'm extremely lucky like that. Okay, next question. Favorite road food. Okay, so this could go either way, I guess. And I didn't really think about it when I was asking the question or writing the questions down. So favorite road food, that can be whatever food you like on the road, or as I would take it, my favorite food that I ever found on the road. So in the Cannonball, the first Cannonball, and I was crew chief mechanic for Miss Chris Summer Simmons, and we traveled again from North Carolina to Santa Monica, and we got to go in all kinds of different places, crazy stuff. And I'm looking for a picture here because I'm doing my best to talk to you and push these buttons at the same time. I'm getting there. I think I got it. I'm close. We went to this place in Stuttgart, Arkansas. So we were on the run, and Chris's bike, Effie, I'm not sure. I think we broke an actual rocker arm that day, and we had to put the bike in the van. So we were late for the luncheon. When we got there, the food was all gone. So I asked the mayor, who was super nice, super nice. They said, well, go over here to this place around the corner called the Sportsman's Grill. And we went around the corner. We pulled up to this building, and it was so crazy because it was like this white corrugated aluminum building, and it had an old Schlitz malt liquor neon sign outside, and it was all gravel parking lot. And it looked like there was nothing there, like it was closed, like not dilapidated or anything, just very absent anything that you would think a restaurant that had really good stuff would have. Now they were only open till 2, so we were the last ones there. So we pull up in the parking lot, and Laura and Chris and I were like, not so sure. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we should. And they're like, yeah, no. And I'm like, yeah. So we drove around. We drove around the corner, and then I decided, well, hell with it, and I drove back. The reason I drove back was because you got to try the small stuff, the mom and pop's places, the places you would never go into. You can get commercialized Chili's, Burger King, whatever the hell you want anywhere, but you can't find these good jewel places unless you go in the door. So we went back, we went in, and it turned out the nice woman who owned the place was Facebook friends of all of ours. So I had the best 12-ounce hamburger I ever had in my life. I scored some really cool glasses for Beaner, these big giant sunglasses that he was on the trip with us too. He was doing something else. But yeah, that was the best road food. Oh, and the pork chops and Sturgis. At the Thunder Roads, they used to have this tent set out. They would deep fry these big on the bone pork chops. Oh my God, to die for. They were literally so good. Super good. So yeah, that would be my favorite road food. Okay, next question. What is your most cherished motorcycle memory? Okay. That again, that's there's more than a few, so I guess if I have to pick one, yeah, I'd have to pick two. So traveling with Chris Summer Simmons on the Cannonball, I got to hang out with Dale Waxler. So on the trip, this man kind of took me under his wing and just let me ask the questions because I never really did anything with antique motorcycles, like total loss oil system and, a breather gear that's the size of my fist, not the size of my thumb. And, like so many things. The throwout bearing, whoo, the slinger itself was huge. He was really cool. And he was so kind and would let me go in the trailer and work on bikes with him and late at night. And he would tell me stuff and he would open stuff up. And the last day of the event, during the travels and stuff when he was working, if I went to get food or something, I would bring him food back and stuff like that. Everybody, the camaraderie on this trip was ridiculous. If you broke apart, everybody was in it to win it. Even though it was a competition, this one would have a this, they'd say, take that. Okay, this one needed that. Oh, I got that for you. So the camaraderie and respect on the Cannonball is just amazing. Lonnie made it very easy, and you didn't even know it was the first time because it was that good. So the last day, I got to service Miss Effie. We were doing a quick service on her with Bill Redenzel's daughters. They were on the run, and so they actually, Cassidy and Willa, they actually helped me service the bike, and we were talking and stuff like that. And at the end, Dale Waxler came over, and he had 2 spoons and a banana split in his hand. And he sat down and he said, I brought ice cream. Let's have some. And we sat and we threw the shit and talked about the whole trip and what we enjoyed most about it and how cool it was to get to meet each other. I was telling him about it was so neat to meet his family. And, he had his kids and grandkids and stuff in Arizona. We went through there in New Mexico. It was one of the two. But we had a really good time. And I still have the spoon from that banana split. It meant the world to me. So that was like one of my most cherished motorcycle memories ever. And that, you can't really beat that. He's not with us anymore, but boy, howdy, is he with us in spirit every time we turn around and do something. And then I guess the other one would have to be the Chopper Chick crew. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. I have been blessed to go ahead and build charity bikes, like live. Who gets to build a bike live in Rockefeller Center on NBC Today Show? We did it, and we pulled it off. We had to take parts off because we were done. We started at like 2 a.m, and they were filming, and then we were building, and we got to the point where all these people started coming around. We weren't paying attention, and they were all in the Rockefeller Center, and it was time to go live, and we were done. We were ready to push the button. They're like, oh, well, we wanted to show you live, put some stuff. So we had to take some stuff off, and then we pushed the button and it started right up. It was so crazy cool. And just to be able, we've done some cool stuff. We built the bike live at the Daytona International Speedway. Joanne was painting it in the U-Haul trailer because we were on such a tight crunch and so many different things weren't happening quite like they should have. There it is there, the pink ribbon chopper. We built that for the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And so the one we built on the Today Show actually benefited the Boys and Girls Club. And that's all the kids from my local Boys and Girls Club, along with my son, Gray, the youngest. Kids and motorcycles, you know what I mean? You got to spark the future. You got to keep them going. I like to go to the Boys and Girls Clubs when I go to events, that and veterans hospitals, because it's the coolest thing. You inspire the kids. And then if you're smart enough to go to the veterans hospital and just listen to the guys and the ladies who have served in all our country all through the decades and listen to the stories, I mean, you're the better person for it. So that's just yeah, that's a cool thing. And okay, so there's that. And okay, I got one more. Might as well since I'm here. So, oh, two more. Okay, here you go. There. I got to customize a guitar for the Hard Rock Roadhouse. We all were builders for the Roadhouse, and Miss Carrie Rep gave us all guitars, and she said, "Listen, we want you to customize them." And Don and I, we stole the dice out of the Monopoly game or the Yahtzee game. We put it up on the top because it was casino, Hard Rock Hotel Casino. The dials on the guitar, we robbed the little tires off of our son's model car, and we made it was super cool. And then we cut it up to be heart shape, and then Don rewired it exactly how it came apart so that you could play it. So it was the neatest, coolest thing. It's heart shape, and yeah, that was another one of those really good memories. And then you saved the best for last. So I was in a movie. It was called Rough Boys. It hasn't come out yet. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but so I got to be in a movie with Charlie Bretchel, may he rest in peace, brother from another mother, Barry Wardlaw, Dave Nichols, Charlie Musselwhite, and Benny Turner. Charlie Musselwhite is actually the man who they made Dan Aykroyd's character after in the Blues Brothers. For real, no bullshit. He plays a harp like nobody's business. Benny Turner, Freddie King's brother, he plays the bass guitar. Blues musicians like nobody's business. They were in the movie. Dennis Sanfilippo, Tony Pan Sanfilippo. Just the people that were in this movie. And if you ever saw Rebel on the Highway, the first one, everybody who was anybody in the industry got to be a part of it and just have fun and help make our friend's dream come true. So yeah, that was those are my cherished motorcycle memories. I have some other ones that are kind of private, so I'm not going to share those here. That's why I picked those. Okay, next question. If money didn't matter and you could road trip anywhere, where would you go and with who? That one's easy for me. I already got that one going. So this guy right here, yeah, that one, my guy. I love him so much. I would ride with him to Lukenbach, Texas, with Waylon, Willie, and the boys. Like that song, I love that song. So many times we've been on road trips and we've had to go past it, around it, the other way. Someday soon, we're going to Lukenbach, Texas, and we're just gonna enjoy it. And it would be nice if money didn't matter. We could just take a big old pocket full, stay in a hotel, invite 100 of our closest friends. We stay for a month, have a party, a band, a couple bands. We get the Doobie Brothers to play, just like as a private show. Bring some of their friends because we love Pat Simmons and Tom Johnson and all those guys. That's something else that I'm so blessed because I actually can consider them friends and family and stuff like that. And I remember going to the South Florida Fair, waiting in line for hours just to get in to see them. So, again, my life is blessed. I'm so very lucky. Okay, and then the last one is, tell us something good about yourself that others wouldn't know. That always requires thought. It's the hardest thing to find something good about yourself. It's really easy to criticize yourself about all kinds of stuff, but to find something good, I guess I would have to say something good about myself that other people don't know. I'm the person that even if I don't have it, I'm always on a slim budget. It's okay. I live on love a lot of times with my wonderful husband and my kids and my grandson, and that'll get you through. It doesn't help to pay the bills, but it'll get you through. Living on love is possible. But I guess I would say that I will, instead of buying something for myself, I will buy the coffee or the gallon of milk for the veteran or the police officer or the nurse standing in line in front of me at the convenience store. I will go to 7-Eleven and see that they have a deal on the pizzas, 2 for $6, and I will drop them off at the park around the corner where the homeless people gather. Um, I do stuff like that. I like to be as helpful and be of service whenever I can. Um, and yeah, that's like the good about me. What else is good about me? I don't know. I'm sure there's a list of what's not so good about me, but yeah, that's something I guess most people don't know. And then um, cool. I made it through all that stuff. I pushed all those buttons and I got all those pictures up on the screen. I'm just giddy about that. So this is the part of the show where I give you my afterthought. So here it is. It's never easy to put a positive spin on everything, right? Many people forget that it's okay if we agree to disagree, but doing something positive or being positive has a great benefit for you and the people around you. You cannot forget that. Like if you just smile at somebody walking through a door, they could be having the most miserable day of their life. And just because some random silly stranger smiled at them or held the door open or you were kind or considerate, that could change the whole trajectory of their day. You don't know what someone's going through. You don't walk in their shoes. You don't know what situation they have on their plate right now. So like if you do your best to just be positive and spread it, and the world will do everything it can to make you miserable, so why let it win? Like that's my whole thing. So if we could just all do our best to be kind to ourselves and to others, it matters. It really does. And yeah, so today that's my afterthought. Just off the top of my head. I am going to write some of this stuff down and go through the whole format now that I've managed to get through the format and have some really good content and some guests and all that. So thanks for putting up with my shit. And okay. So in closings, I'm going to say thank you and good night. I am going to say also, please follow us on Facebook. I'll get the Instagram up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because if you do that, once I get 100 subscribers, we can have it youtube.com/Athena After Dark. That would be so super cool. I mean, like goals, you got to have goals. Yeah. And remember, just be kind to one another. If you have some positive stuff that you want to say or share, send it. If you have negative stuff you want to say or share, keep it. Don't want it. And great. So I'm going to come back next week, Monday at 10 p.m. Now that I have all my technical difficulties worked out, that's where we'd like our schedule to be. And I will have a cool, crazy, super good guest. If you, again, want to participate, we greatly appreciate it. Athena After Dark at AOL.com. And we will see you next week. All right. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great week. Enjoy and be kind to yourself and to everyone else. Peace out.